her mother has commented that her husband wasn't overly keen on Griffiths because he didn't say much, but she assumed this aspect of his character was just down to his age. As Ellie's exams approached, she wanted to focus on her studies and felt the relationship was not right for her, so ended it in early May. She said that she had felt suffocated by Griffiths, his attention, and on the night before her murder told her friends he had not taken the split well. On the 3rd of May 2019, Griffiths of Dairy Hill, Wiltshire, was dropped off at school by his mother. After emailing his teachers to tell them he was feeling unwell, he walked to Chippenham bus station where he caught a bus back to Derry Hill before returning home. His mother also returned home, and after hiding in the wardrobe of his bedroom so that she would not discover him absent from school, and waiting for her to depart again, he took the keys to a silver Ford Focus and drove to Ellie's house. Following an argument, Griffiths attempted to strangle her, then used a knife he had taken from the family kitchen to stab her in the neck 13 times. Griffiths spent an hour at the house attempting to clean up the crime scene using clothes to do this, which he had placed in plastic bags. He also washed his trainers in the kitchen sink and cleaned the knife using an apron, before placing it in Ellie's hands so as to make her injuries appear to be self-inflicted. He then used her finger to unlock her mobile phone and, posing as her, texted one of her friends who was due to give her a lift to school, telling the friend not to collect her. After returning home to change, Griffiths put his clothes in the washing machine, then dumped the bag of bloodied items in a local woodland. A neighbour saw him returning from the woods and drove him back to the school, where he was subsequently collected by his mother. Later that day, he sent text messages to friends indicating that he and Ellie were going away on a break together, and Ellie's phone asking her if they could meet. Ellie's body was discovered by her father at 3 p.m. that afternoon in her kitchen. Wiltshire police arrested Griffiths on suspicion of murder at 6 p.m. on the 3rd of May outside a friend's house, and he was taken to Melksham police station to be held for questioning. Evidence was gathered from Griffiths' mobile phone and CCTV cameras tracking his movements, and a neighbour who saw someone matching his description outside Ellie's house. Griffiths also had marks on his neck that were consistent with the defence wounds. He initially denied involvement in Gould's death, claiming not to have seen her that day, and also that he had arranged to go to her house so the pair could study together. Police then matched blood on his trainers with that belonging to Ellie, and he was charged with her murder. Griffiths was charged with murder on the 6th of May and appeared before Salisbury Magistrates Court the following day. He appeared at Bristol Crown Court on 9th of May, where a provisional trial date was set for 28th of October. He did not enter a plea and was remanded in custody. At a plea Ellie's funeral was held on 29th of May at St Mary's Church. The service was attended by family and friends. Following Lewis's sentence, the case was subsequently referred to the Attorney General's office under the unduly lenient sentences scheme, but on 6th of December 2019, it was announced that it could not be referred to the Court of Appeal because the law prevents people under the age of 21 from being given a whole life tariff. Speaking about the decision, Carol Gould described the legal process as a crazy system where those under the age of 18 have the same starting point as younger children. There's a huge difference between a 10-year-old and an 18-year-old, and really the laws need to be changed. Ellie's friends began a campaign to have compulsory self-defense lessons taught in schools, feeling that basic knowledge of self-defense would have saved her life and that it should be taught, alongside subjects like swimming and road safety. The campaign was backed by James Gray, the MP for North Wiltshire, and on 12th of March 2020, the matter was debated in the House of Commons. Vicky Ford, a junior minister with the Department for Education, ruled out making self-defense lessons compulsory for schools, but agreed to issue guidelines and ask head teachers if they felt self-defense classes were right for their schools. She said the balance of risk was much clearer with things such as swimming and road safety, but that teaching self-defense relied very much on the age and maturity of pupils and their understanding that it could only be used in emergencies. Carol Gould subsequently campaigned for the introduction of Ellie's law that would enable young offenders to be treated more like adults when convicted of serious crimes, such as murder. In August 2020, the Daily Telegraph reported that Robert Buckland, the Secretary of State for Justice, was reviewing the sentencing process and considering Gould